I have a friend who, around that 4th month of recovery, was able to borrow a powered wheelchair for me so that I could start to get outside on my own and just have a little bit of independence. At 4 months, for some reason that year, like winter kept dragging on, so it wasn't very nice outside by mid-April. And you never know how much you miss the sun, like the warmth on your face, or even just the breeze hitting your skin, until you don't get to go outside without help. And me not wanting to be, pardon me, a nuisance, I didn't ask a whole lot to be able to go outside. So this powered wheelchair was able to get me around in my yard, and I would go, we had pretty long driveway. I would go up and get the mail every day, and that was just such an accomplishment for me, and just, it gave me enough like renewal of my spirit to keep spurring me on. And I vaguely remember this one day, I had started physical therapy, and I had started standing a few minutes on, or not a few minutes, I'm sorry, like 1 minute on my left foot on the parallel bars in therapy. And I went into our yard to look at the flower beds, not realizing that it was still cool enough that the grass was just a little bit wet. And there was just, very slight decline where the flower bed was. And I turned around to go back to the house, and the back tires started spinning on my electric wheelchair. And I thought, oh no. This was my first of several times of getting stuck at my house outside in a wheelchair with no one around in the middle of the day. And I remember I was sitting there, I was trying to rock and rock and rock back and forth just to get enough traction for it to catch and go forward. And it wasn't working, and it wasn't working. And I thought, man, I cannot call somebody to come get me out of my yard because I'm stuck in this wheelchair. And I had been pushing with my left foot just a tad. And because I knew that I had been standing on it in therapy. And I remember kind of like sliding over and putting my full weight on my left ankle and pushing with all of my might, which all of my might was, so inadequate. But I remembered that it was enough. And I had my finger on the forward button to get the wheelchair out, that it was just enough to grab hold of some fresh grass to propel me forward. And then I had to crawl a couple, steps on my knees to get back up into the wheelchair. And my first thought always is, my husband's gonna kill me. I'm gonna have to tell him this. And he was always so good about each one. My husband has this way of looking stern without even trying to, because of his natural facial features. He just can't help it. And I remember I was like, I have to tell him. I think it took me a day. I think I waited. I didn't do it that night. I waited another night just to tell him. And his only response was, Carrie, we're going to have to set some rules. Yep. And Carrie needs to follow them. Yeah, very true. So that was the first of, I think, 3 times that I got myself stuck outside.